Good morning, all. Welcome to Year 9 Business, week number 9. Excellent work last week. Truly incredible work. Let me just load up a PowerPoint for today. So you did mortgages and houses, and I was really impressed with the amount of houses you found and those explanations of why the houses were different amounts of money in different places. It was really good, and you did really well. So thank you so much for that. We're moving on a little bit now, but kind of sticking to it. It's a bit weird. I want to focus on Kim's work from last week that she sent in. And, like everyone else, she did some great research and found lots of different houses. But this top one up here is the one I want to look at. We've got here this house that, you're paying £6,761 a month to live in here. It costs, the mortgage that you borrowed was £1.3 million. So you pay back £2.02 million, which is, quite a lot of interest on top of that, but it's a big loan. But I want to look at here, £6,761 a month. And I thought to myself, I can't afford that. So let's have a look at how much money I'd need to earn a year before I did that. And we got down here, £6,761 times by the 12 months means I need to earn £81,132 a year. Now that's even before I pay for anything else, just my mortgage here. I need to earn at least that to pay for just the house. So I've got no furniture, I've got no food, I've got no bills, we can't have the lights on, we can't have broadband, I've got no phone, nothing. We've just got this house. So I need to have a job that earns at least that, but in the real world, a lot more than that. And so it got me thinking, well, what job do I want? And I don't earn £81,130 a year, so I can't pay for that house. And so I want you guys to think about that now. Think about the reality of how much money will you likely have to spend on houses in the future. And many jobs pay many different amounts of wages and salary. It all depends on the skill of the job, how much training is needed, how much experience you need, how difficult the job is, sometimes how dangerous the job is, and what qualifications you need. Sometimes you can't get jobs until you have particular qualifications. And that means that people pay a lot more for that job. And then it's worth more perhaps that people pay for it. So I found a website, and the link is in the next slide, and I'll pop it on there again. And it's this website, which is called National Career Service from the government, and we can search for jobs. So my little boy yesterday announced on a walk that he wanted to be a railway engineer. So he wanted to fix the railway lines when they broke. So I could search in here, railway engineer, and down here it's telling me that rail track maintenance worker, that's really what he wanted. He wanted a belt with tools on. His salary is going to be from 18,000 to 34,000 a year. So we now know for his job how much money he's going to earn. Now, if he's just starting out and he's on £18,000 a year, he's not going to be able to afford that mortgage of £6,000 a month. So we know that we're going to have to kind of try and work on that a little bit. My daughter as well, who was sat here, what job did you want to be when you grew up? Create a vaccine against snake bites, she said. It's like a research scientist. So if we search in here, research scientist, it's going to be very broad, I would imagine. They're earning from £15,000 to £60,000 a year. So you start off actually earning less than Milo with his railway engineer, but you might end up earning more. Now, what I want you to do is play around with this a little bit. What I want you to do is go to that website, the link's below and attached to all the emails I send out. And I want you to find out the average salary for a teacher, for a doctor, for a cleaner. I then want you to find 3 other careers that perhaps you have an interest in and find out what their average salaries are. Then I want you to try and explain why they are so different. Why is it that teachers, doctors, cleaners, and whatever you find get paid different amounts? Just have a think. Nothing wrong here. Try to be kind with it, perhaps. Now, we then have a second extension activity. If you did last week's and you got really into it, this is for you. So what I want you to do is kind of reverse this. Firstly, the house you found last week, if you were going to buy a house that was 3 million, I want you to find a job that would earn you enough money to be able to afford that house. So if you go and work out the mortgage calculator from last week's task, how much you needed a month, you can then work out how much you needed a year and then find your job. Or the second one here is find your dream job and then find a house you could afford. Does that make sense? So with number one is finding, okay, that's my dream house. That's the house I want. What do I need to do to get that house? Or the second part of this task is, well, this is my dream job. What house can I afford with that dream job? Because some people's dream jobs don't pay very much, and that's fine. But then we need to change. We can't be buying our £3 million mansion on the ridges. Now, to help with this, I Googled what mortgage can I afford? And mortgage can get very complicated. And if you go to a bank or any one of these links here, it gets really complicated. But there's a really simple one that came up down here from Google. And it got here the monthly payments. So if I was earning, if I was started off working as a railway engineer and I was earning £18,000 a year, I could divide that by 12 to find out how much money I had a month, 1,500. So my monthly payments here, I could put as 1,500. So they're saying that I could borrow 450,000. Oh, sorry, I could borrow £280,000. So now I need to go and find a house that fits that amount of money. So that's kind of an extension task if you got really into last week. The main part of today is looking at those salaries for the different jobs. You guys are great. Thanks ever so much. Big fan of your work. See you next week.